Hello guys, NautoAce here, and this will be sort of an interesting topic, and it's sort of related to the Amico, but of course, in the last video, I did say that I'm not going to talk about it, and I am still sticking to that. What basically I'm going to talk about is a situation that's similar, and it's basically about the PS3. So what am I talking about? I'm giving my thoughts on the idea versus reality. So what does that mean? So sometimes you have something in your head, an idea, and you want to make it reality. But sometimes, remember the old saying goes, I thought it would work in my head, but now it's not, something like that. So I don't know, I'm probably too old for this. It's something like, I have an idea, but unfortunately, make it reality, it doesn't really work. So of course, in the case with the Amico, everybody knows this, that when Tommy Tallarico was still CEO, he had a lot of this idea, a lot of this rule he put for the Amico. First of all, the Amico is going to be family friendly. It's kind of like a better version of Nintendo with image-wise. To play with your family and friends in a single room rather than online. Okay, cool. I like that idea to some extent because OG. And then he's going to say, the Amico is going to be a affordable system. It's going to be under $200 to some extent, $150. He said something like that. Probably people are going to deny it now at this point on. But before that, he was saying it's going to be super affordable. It is going to be treated as a secondary console. Remember, like the Wii U, it was treated as a secondary console. Even so, Iwata basically said that wasn't their intention. That's what happened. But in the case with the Amico, it was supposed to be meant to be a secondary console. All the games are going to be $10 tops. So it's from $299 to $999. All games are going to be E and below, or E10 or below. Basically tween, something like that. Friendly games, and then there's this 10 Commandments. That was his idea. And then 4 years later, after the report from the SEC, you know what happened? Oh my God, they owe a lot of money. Phil Adams takes over. He basically said now games are going to be between $10 to $20. The system probably going to be the lowest they can sell it for is $250, which is the same price as a Switch Lite. So again, instead of being a secondary console for family-friendly, affordable, now it's like an alternative. What's going on there? And then all the idea they show with the Amico console, they might be changed. That's why a lot of people did say that push come to shove is going to be either a plug and play, a compilation disc for other system, and probably their best choice is to let someone else buy them and whatever. Because if you don't know, one part of the SEC report is that they owe a lot of people money. They're in debt. So that idea didn't come to reality. Now it's all the opposite. So that's what I'm talking about. In that one, I already gave my thoughts. Unfortunate, but whatever. But the idea of idea versus reality. Sadly, sometimes, or to some extent, most of the time, it doesn't work. An example I can tell you is the Wii U. So, the Wii U, even so in my personal opinion, I think it's a good system. Yeah, it has some problems. Lack of achievement. Online's not good. The infrastructure's not good. The architect wasn't even good. In Iwata's mind, he thought the idea of a secondary screen, a second screen experience was going to be good. What was the reaction? Why? It's confusing. This is too hard. The idea of Miiverse. It's our way of discussing about Nintendo games in a safe place, Miiverse, and you can create your own do-it-yourself achievement. That didn't really work. Most people said it's kind of weird. Again, Iwata thought it was a good idea. Now he realized, I guess that wasn't good. Put some gyro controls on the Wii pad for some games. This game's going to be the ultimate Nintendo console for casual and hardcore. That didn't work. Casual didn't really care. Hardcore was confusing. I waited a year later for a price drop, and thank goodness they did. But because of that, their investors were pissed about it, and they didn't know what to do. The market was there to some extent. In the beginning, the idea is supposed to be that it's for hardcore and casual. That didn't work, so later on they changed their market strategy. It's a kid family-friendly console where people can play together because their online sucked. So that's the problem there, the idea versus reality. Again, unfortunately for that case, it didn't work. The biggest one here is Ken Kutaragi when he did the PS3. Oh boy, so this is the one that I really want to give my thoughts on. So if you remember the $600 grill, that's what they call it. It's so stupid looking, it's heavy, it's big, and it had a lot of flaw. And there was a lot of features there that Ken Kutaragi wanted to do, believe it or not. One of the ideas that he wanted to do with the PS3 was it was going to be a legacy console. So what does that mean? Able to play PS3 games, but also PS2 and PS1 games. That was an idea. And then giving consumers option how to save their game or save data. That's why the very first one, the grill one, if you notice, beside the 20 gig hard drive or 60 gig hard drive, which in my opinion those are not enough, there were a lot of slots on the original PlayStation 3. And from what I heard rumors, what the idea behind that, it was supposed to be some sort of alternative to put your either downloadable games or save data. The problem was the Ken Kutaragi wanted that idea, but apparently somebody from Sony, either the business side said, not a good idea because what if people can hack it, security concern. So they told him, well, you can only just back it up there, that's good enough. But you can't use it as a external option. So that kind of beats the purpose. So if you want to use either the game or your save data, you have to put it on the hard drive. I can understand about the save data, but the games and stuff, some of them are big. Well, that's kind of dumb. And the problem with those slots is that costs money. He put a lot of USB, again, maybe an external hard drive. That didn't work. They said, well, unfortunately, it didn't work with the system. So that was down the drain. And then the biggest thing here, because a lot of those features, especially like I said, natively to play PS2, PS1 game, he wanted to sell the console on a reasonable price. The reason why it became $499 to $599 was when they built this console, the original PS3, it was costing them a lot of money. So to a point that they said, we gotta sell it for this price. And even with $600 for the 60 gig, it wasn't good. They were losing $200 for every time. That's why it was super duper easy to get a PS3. And like I said, for the PS3, it was a bad memory for me and my friend because we bought the PS3 and then within months, it just broke. And then we had to replace it. And within 2 years, that thing broke. So it wasn't even good. It wasn't future-proof. And we thought it was because we were like Sony supporters. You get a lot of those yellow light of death. And the problem is that the architect itself, the hardware, wasn't even that good. And what else I can think of? The cell processor, the exclusive game engine, the console hardware engine, hardware architect. It was supposed, the idea behind it was, let's make it hard so third-party company will only make games for the PS3. Well, that backfired because all suddenly allowed this third-party company, including Square Enix, said, it's better just to do games on the 360 because it's much easier. So, to a point that it was so bad at launch that they gave Ken Kutaragi a window seat. And then, of course, he left. The last time I heard, he was working at Marvelous. I don't know what's happening right now at this point on, but the last time I heard, long time ago, he was working at Marvelous. So, like I said, the idea there that, it's going to be cheap, price that it's supposed to be okay from the business side and to the consumer, that didn't work. You have those optional slots so you can put your games or save data. That didn't work because they didn't want it because for quote-unquote security reason, so you have to rely on the 60 gig hard drive. Able to play all those games with a cheap price. They said they didn't. The problem is that you're shoving in a PS2 console on a PS3, and a lot of people said that was costing a lot of money. That didn't work. The sound processor, that's the future. No, it's not. Developer hated it. Again, to a point that push came to shove, it was the opposite of what happened. It was very expensive. It was a dumb price, but they couldn't do anything about it. That was pointless to have those slots. Heck, even having 4 USB, I mean, great in my opinion. Again, that costs money. You can't really do anything about it because you can't even have an external hard drive. The cell processor was just dumb because people said it was too hard to develop the games. Yeah, they screwed up, and that's why when it came with the PS4, it was a lot of 180, and one of the downside was they couldn't make it backwards compatible with the PS3 due to the architect difference. They put a PS3 there, well, that's going to cost a lot of money. That was the reason also with the Wii U, because one of the flaws they did to some extent, even so that the Wii U and the Wii are sort of the same, the OS wasn't shared. That was the downside. It wasn't. That's why you have to go to Wii mode. There was a rumor it was going to be like the Wii, when you put in a GameCube game, you just straight up play. But no, in the case with the Wii U, the reason why it went to Wii mode is that they couldn't do the OS right. That was a problem. They were having a hard time to a point. Yeah, so, I mean, granted, the OS with the PS3, with playing PS2, PS1 game was actually close. They just said there was a lot of cost that they just couldn't do it. And they just said, yep, nope, not going to work. So, yeah, that's when the idea failed when it comes to reality, because all the idea that Ken Kutaragi wanted failed. So that's what it is. Thoughts about it, and it's unfortunate. I would love that idea, but sometimes reality is that you can't do it in business. That's why sometimes now, in today's recent situation, there's inflation. Because they're not making a lot of money. They don't know what to do. How are you going to make money? Well, you got to raise the price. Because if you don't, you go out of business. And to some extent, like new friends who work on businesses, even this is before what's happening right now, like a long time ago, and your friend who used to work in a Pizza Hut, this is a long time ago, they had to raise their price on their pizza because they were not making any money. And when that happened, people said, well, I'm not going to go to this particular Pizza Hut because they're very expensive and whatever. So push to shove, what happened was they went out of business because there's no money. You know, you can see there. So the bottom line sometimes is that reality hurts, and you gotta see for what it is. So in the case of the Amico, if this thing ever comes out, it's not gonna be as what time it did. So like I said, the idea gets thrown out the window. The reality is, it is what it is there. So like I said, that's what happened to the PS3 with the Wii U, and in the case with the Amico, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to touch it. But like I said, I want to share about the concept of idea versus reality. Where idea, push comes to shove, gets thrown out the window because reality check, it's just not going to work. Just saying there. So with that, I'll see you guys later.